actor, director, and film titan Tyler Perry is the latest celebrity to be accused of sexual assault. We got our hands on a new lawsuit filed Friday in Los Angeles Superior Court by an actor named Derek Dixon.
Filed lawsuit accuses Tyler Perry of sexually assaulting an actor on one of the filmmaker's shows. Actor Derek Dixon has sued Perry for $260 million.
Derek Dixon, a one-time actor on Perry-produced shows Ruthless and The Oval, alleges the media mogul, quote, used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic between them.
A single late-night message flashes on screen. I need what you're not giving me. According to rising actor Derek Dixon, that line, allegedly typed by billionaire filmmaker Tyler Perry, was the moment a dream role flipped into a nightmare. Dixon has now filed a $260 million civil suit accusing Perry of quid pro quo harassment, assault, and retaliation. Perry's camp calls the claim a scam, but Dixon says he kept screenshots, saved every voicemail, and is ready to prove how Hollywood power can twist opportunity into exploitation. Tonight we trace the story from their first handshake to the lawsuit's bombshell drop, using only receipts, court filings, and direct quotes. By the end, you'll decide whether this is the next Weinstein-level reckoning or the biggest shakedown Hollywood's seen this decade.
The lawsuit alleging Perry, quote, offers aspiring actors the prospect of career-defining opportunities.
In 2019, Derek Dixon was hustling event gigs in Atlanta, handing out champagne flutes at a private party thrown by Tyler Perry. Cameras weren't rolling. This was the director's personal crowd. Mid-shift, Perry allegedly pulled Dixon aside, praising his charisma and offering, on the spot, a chance to audition for a new political drama, The Oval. For an actor stuck in gig work, the invite sounded like a golden ticket. Dixon landed the role of Dale, a series regular, and overnight went from background waiter to primetime TV face. Friends called it fate. Perry, in interviews, touted his knack for spotting raw talent. The Cinderella story seemed complete. Yet inside studio gates, Derek says certain perks came with fine print. Private dinners, late-night FaceTimes, and a steady stream of compliments that felt more personal than professional. At first, he brushed it off. Mentors can be eccentric. But during a location scout at Perry's Atlanta soundstage, the filmmaker allegedly leaned closer and said, "Stick with me and we'll build something big, together." The words sounded motivational, until a follow-up text arrived at 1 a.m. asking Derek what he was wearing. The moment felt off, but the actor chalked it up to big personality humor until the invitations turned physical. And the first time Derek accepted one of those private invites, he realized this mentorship came with strings he never saw in the contract.
What I say is really the worst kind of sexual harassment, which is the quid pro quo. That means, hey, if you perform sexually, I will help your career. And if you don't, I'm going to retaliate. And the argument here is that Dixon was going to be written off the show if he didn't comply with these sexual demands.
After shooting began, Perry's praise intensified. According to lawsuit filings, he told Dixon he'd bankroll the actor's passion project, a pilot script that had been collecting dust. But compliment-heavy rehearsals allegedly morphed into flirty messages. Why do you twist your hips when you walk? Could watch you all day. When Dixon tried to keep conversations surface level, Perry allegedly sweetened the career hook, production meetings at his mansion, extra script pages written for Derek's character, and late-night alcohol deliveries to the guest house on studio grounds. Messages included offers like, "Drop by for a nightcap. Let's brainstorm your show." In April 2020, pandemic lockdowns forced cast and crew into on-lot housing to keep filming under a strict bubble. Perry's team delivered boxed dinners and, Dixon claims, bottles of Patron to his doorstep. One night, after heavy drinks, Dixon says Perry called, slurring compliments and urging him to stay on the phone. It escalated to explicit talk about mutual stress relief. Derek laughed it off, wished him good night, and hung up. Minutes later, his phone buzzed again. "Come to the main house, doors open." He declined. According to the suit, the next morning Perry texted, We'll revisit the pilot conversation when you're more available. Dixon admits he felt cornered, turn down the mogul and risk losing the role, or play along and compromise personal boundaries. He chose distance. Weeks passed without incident, until an alcohol-heavy wrap party at Perry's home ended with Derek accepting a guest room stay. Because, he says, Perry insisted he was too tipsy to drive. That guest room became the scene Derek now describes as the night everything crossed a line.
This case arises from a sustained pattern of workplace sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation perpetrated by Tyler Perry, a powerful media mogul, against plaintiff Derek Dixon, a professional actor and screenwriter. Mr. Perry is an American actor, filmmaker, and playwright who has built one of the most successful careers in the film and television industry. Mr. Perry took his success and power and used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitive dynamic with Mr. Dixon, initially promising him career advancement and creative opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him in his show, only to subject him to escalating sexual harassment, assault, and battery, and professional retaliation when Mr. Dixon did not reciprocate Mr. Perry's unwanted advances. These events occurred while Mr. Dixon was employed as a series regular on the Tyler Perry show, The Oval, and while Mr. Perry held direct control over his employment, compensation, and creative opportunities.
Court documents state that Derek woke just before dawn to find Tyler Perry allegedly in the guest bed, hands exploring beneath the sheet. Dixon says he shoved Perry's wrist away and muttered a panicked, "No." Perry reportedly tightened his grip, whispered apologies, and tried steering conversation back to Derek's pilot, promising, "Anything you want." Dixon claims he de-escalated by complimenting Perry's work, then excused himself to the bathroom and never returned to the room. At 9 a.m., an apology text pinged. "Had too much tequila. Don't know why I sabotaged myself. Let's talk. Your show is greenlit." A second text followed minutes later. "Just call me when you're ready. I need what you're not giving me." Dixon screenshotted both. Back on set, he attempted professional distance. That's when the script for the Oval season finale arrived. His character Dale would be shot 4 times in the chest. Castmates joked that no one is safe in a Tyler Perry show, but Dixon read a deeper threat. He alleges Perry later whispered, "Characters live or die by loyalty." One more late-night message hammered it home. "Dale survives if you keep me happy." Feeling cornered, Derek began archiving every DM, every voicemail. He confided in a therapist who advised documentation and eventual legal counsel. Still, he stayed on set, until producers hinted Dale might not survive after all. That's when Derek realized receipts alone couldn't stop retaliation if the checks suddenly stopped showing up in his bank account.
Have a small part on Perry's show called Ruthless. Then he returned to his event staff job, through which he was hired to work at Perry's parties in places like Los Angeles and Jackson Hole, Wyoming. As Dixon spent more time with Perry, he says that Perry would flirt with him through text messages and his advances became more aggressive. Dixon claims that he was invited to Perry's Georgia home where he and Perry drank together. When Perry told him he was too drunk to drive and offered him his guest bedroom, Dixon says he accepted. But then he claims that while he was asleep, Perry climbed into bed with him and tried to initiate sex. Dixon says he tried to distance himself from Perry, but he was offered a role on Perry's show, The Oval. The lawsuit then reads, Dixon did his best to tiptoe around Tyler Perry's sexual aggression while keeping on Mr. Perry's good side. Mr. Perry made it clear to Dixon that if Dixon ignored Perry or failed to engage with the sexual innuendos, Dixon's character would die in the next season. Indeed, Dixon's character Dale was shot 4 times in the chest at the end of his first season on The Oval, and Perry always held this over Dixon's head, implying that Dale would survive if Dixon kept Perry, quote, happy.
The finale aired. Dale, beloved by fans, took 4 bullets and flatlined. Viewers gasped. Dixon's phone exploded with, "Why'd they kill you?" messages. Behind the scenes, he says the move felt personal. Cast whispers spread that upsetting Perry could write any character off the island. Hoping to keep work, Derek agreed to talk pilot details once more, but only through agents. Perry's team allegedly countered with a hefty raise, conditional on mutual discretion. Dixon refused without clearer boundaries. Shortly after, he filed a confidential complaint with the EEOC citing quid pro quo harassment. According to Dixon's suit, Perry Studios responded by demanding he take unpaid medical leave for emotional distress, effectively ending his contract. Dixon walked away from an estimated $400,000 in Season 4 earnings, but left with a hard drive of messages, audio recordings, and calendar logs he says prove his case. In May 2025, he filed a 10-count civil suit in Los Angeles Superior Court, seeking $260 million in damages. The complaint compares Perry's alleged pattern to Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby, arguing that a culture of fear allowed misconduct to thrive. Perry's attorney fired back within hours, calling the suit fabricated and a shakedown. The lawyer promised a countersuit if necessary. Dixon's camp replied simply, "Receipts don't lie." Hollywood trade sites ran splashy headlines, but the bigger question loomed. Would other insiders echo Derek's story, or would this remain a one-on-one showdown of text messages versus star power? Screenshots included in the filing show messages like, "How can I get a day of Dixon?" and "I love being choked." Some are time-stamped during pandemic lockdowns, others at 2 a.m. after set wrap. One thread appears to dangle Dale's fate. 4 bullets can be erased in editing. Think about that. Social media exploded. While Perry's defenders cited decades of philanthropy and family-friendly programming, lawyers unaffiliated with the case noted that text evidence can be persuasive, but context matters, tone, consent, and whether comments crossed legal lines. Meanwhile, industry insiders whispered about an unspoken, open secret culture on certain sets, though no second accuser has stepped forward publicly. Entertainment unions issued cautious statements about safe workplaces, stopping short of naming names. PR analysts warned that if another plaintiff emerges, Perry's billion-dollar empire could face brand pullouts and halted distribution deals. For now, streaming partners remain silent, and upcoming projects at Tyler Perry Studios continue filming. Dixon's lawyers, however, hint more witnesses are considering their options. Perry's team has launched its own narrative, a spurned actor seeking notoriety, pointing out that Dixon left the show just as his character's arc naturally ended. They emphasize that no criminal charges have been filed and vow to fight until the truth wins. Yet with trial discovery looming, more private messages, if they exist, could leak. And leaked messages have toppled titans before. Civil cases in California, federal court can move quickly. Legal analysts expect depositions by early 2026. If text threads authenticate under oath, settlement pressure mounts, especially if insurers fear a jury trial. Dixon's camp says they won't be hushed, citing the Cassie Diddy playbook, file, leak receipts, settle high. Perry, worth an estimated $1.1 billion, could absorb a payout. But reputational damage might cost far more in lost partnerships. Industry gossip speculates 2 endings. A quiet settlement with strict NDAs, Perry issues a vague, lessons learned statement and donates to abuse survivors' funds, while Dixon fades from headlines but shares a cautionary tale on podcasts. Or the case goes full trial. Texts become exhibits, tabloids relish every hearing, and other staffers find courage to speak. Either path rewrites the narrative of Hollywood's media mogul. For Dixon, the suit is already a win in visibility. Agents say casting calls have arrived from networks eager to back a truth teller. For Perry, the stakes include not just money, but legacy. The man who built the first Black-owned major studio could see his name linked to a #MeToo timeline he once seemed immune to. Until a jury sees the receipts, public opinion is the real courtroom. So, do the texts confirm a pattern of coercion, or will Perry demonstrate their misunderstood banter turned into a legal payday? Comment below, receipts or reach, and hit subscribe. We'll follow every filing as this billion-dollar showdown heads to court.